Stop and breathe. Archangel Michael has a special message for your soul. My beloved child, stop for a moment and breathe. Not because something is wrong, but because something is aligning. You've been carrying more than you admit, moving through days without truly pausing, holding yourself together while your inner world asks for rest. This message comes at the exact moment your soul needed permission to slow down. Not to quit. Not to give up. But to reset. There is a calm reaching for you right now, and it isn't accidental. It's intentional. You were meant to hear this when your strength started feeling quiet instead of loud. Don't skip this, because what's opening here isn't motivation, it's relief. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins the moment you stop fighting the stillness you've been avoiding. Here is what you may not realize yet. You were never meant to stay in constant tension. The pressure you've been under was not a test of how much you can endure, but a signal that it's time to realign. When you breathe deeply, when you pause without guilt, you allow clarity to rise naturally. That clarity has been trying to reach you through exhaustion, through restlessness, through moments where nothing felt wrong yet nothing felt right. Stay till the end of this understanding, because the message being delivered isn't about urgency, it's about reassurance. You are not falling behind. You are not missing your moment. You are being guided to slow your pace so your next step lands with precision instead of force. This is the part few people ever hear clearly. Protection doesn't always feel like action. Sometimes it feels like a pause that saves you from moving too fast in the wrong direction. The calm you're being asked to enter now is not weakness. It's preparation. When you breathe and allow yourself to be present, you reconnect with a steadiness that's been buried under constant effort. That steadiness is your anchor. And once you feel it again, decisions become clearer, fear loses its edge, and direction stops feeling heavy. This is only the beginning. What comes next will explain why this pause matters, why your soul needed this exact moment, and why the path ahead will feel lighter. Not because it's easier, but because you're finally moving in alignment. Take another slow breath, because what's about to unfold was hidden beneath the exhaustion you tried to ignore. You've been operating on effort for so long that you forgot how powerful calm actually is. That tightness in your chest, that constant readiness, that feeling of always being on, wasn't strength, it was survival mode overstaying its welcome. And here is the surprising truth most people never hear. The moment you stop forcing answers, guidance becomes clearer. You were not meant to carry everything alone, and you were never expected to solve your entire life in one stretch of effort. This message arrives now because your soul is ready to receive direction without panic. Don't skip this, because the next realization changes how you understand pressure itself. The heaviness you felt wasn't a sign to push harder. It was a signal to breathe, to ground yourself, and to allow support to meet you where you are. Something huge is waiting for you, and it doesn't arrive through struggle, it arrives through alignment. Here's what's been happening quietly in the background. Every time you paused but felt guilty for resting, every time you slowed down but judged yourself for it, you blocked the very clarity you were asking for. Calm is not the opposite of progress. Calm is what makes progress sustainable. When you breathe deeply and stop bracing for impact, your inner awareness sharpens. You start noticing what drains you and what restores you. You start hearing guidance without noise. You start trusting timing instead of fighting it. Stay till the end of this message, because this is where everything shifts. You are being reminded that you don't need to rush to be protected. You don't need to prove your worth through exhaustion. Your value was never tied to how much you can endure. It's tied to how honestly you can listen. And right now, listening is your strength. If these words are landing deeper than you expected, share this message with someone who needs permission to pause. Leave a comment about what you felt while listening, not for approval, but as a moment of awareness. And if you want to stay connected to messages that help you move with calm instead of constant pressure, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now let this truth settle without resistance. The pause you're being guided into is not an ending, it's a reset. When you breathe and allow yourself to be still, you create space for insight to arrive naturally. Decisions become simpler. Fear loses its grip. Direction stops feeling heavy. This is why you were asked to stop and breathe before moving forward. Because the next step in your life requires clarity, not speed. It requires presence, not pressure. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will reveal itself when you stop running from stillness and start trusting it. Let go of the idea that rest makes you fall behind. In your case, rest is what puts everything back into alignment. And once that alignment locks in, you'll move forward with a calm confidence that no chaos can shake. Something subtle is happening now, and if you blink, you might miss it. The world around you hasn't changed much, yet you feel different inside. Less rushed. Less reactive. More aware. This is not coincidence. This is what happens when your soul finally stops bracing for impact. You've spent so long preparing for the next problem that you forgot what it feels like to simply be present. And here's the shocking truth most people never realize: clarity does not arrive when you chase it. It arrives when you become still enough to receive it. Don't skip this moment, because this is where your inner tension begins to dissolve. What you're feeling right now is not uncertainty, it's the space where guidance can finally land. You may notice that old fears don't hit as hard anymore. Thoughts that once spiraled now pass through more gently. This is because your nervous system is learning safety again. When you breathe without forcing answers, your mind reorganizes itself. Priorities shift. What truly matters rises to the surface, and what doesn't quietly fades. Stay till the end of this understanding, because it explains why you're no longer attracted to chaos, drama, or constant urgency. You are not losing ambition. You are refining direction. The message reaching you now is simple but powerful: you don't need to be in survival mode to move forward. You need presence. And presence is what unlocks the next phase of your life. Let this realization anchor you. The calm growing inside you is not temporary, it's foundational. Once you stop resisting stillness, you'll notice your decisions feel cleaner, your instincts sharper, and your confidence quieter but stronger. Something huge is waiting for you, and it doesn't announce itself with noise or pressure. It reveals itself through peace. Through alignment. Through that deep sense of, this feels right, that doesn't need explanation. Hold on to this state. Protect it. Because from here on, you won't move because you're afraid of falling behind. You'll move because you finally know where you're going. Now let yourself notice this shift without questioning it. because this is where many people interrupt their own breakthrough. You're beginning to sense that silence isn't empty anymore. It feels supportive, almost intelligent. That's because when you stopped forcing answers, something deeper stepped in. The constant mental noise you once lived with is losing its grip, and in its place is a steady awareness that doesn't rush you. This is not the absence of movement. This is direction settling in. You are being guided to trust the pause, not fear it. And here is the revelation that changes everything: the calmer you become, the clearer your path reveals itself. You don't need signs chasing you. You need stillness holding you. There's a reason your energy feels more selective now. You can't tolerate meaningless pressure anymore. Conversations that go nowhere drain you faster. Situations built on urgency feel uncomfortable. This isn't you becoming distant. This is you becoming aligned. When your soul finds its rhythm, anything out of sync feels loud. Stay with this feeling, because it's teaching you discernment without struggle. You're learning when to move and when to wait without anxiety. And that ability is rare. It protects you from wasting energy on what looks urgent but leads nowhere. If this message is grounding you in a way you didn't expect, share it with someone who's been carrying silent weight. Leave a comment about what shifted inside you while listening. And if you want to remain connected to messages that guide you with calm instead of chaos, subscribe so you don't miss what unfolds next. Let this land gently. You are not being asked to change who you are. You are being asked to stop fighting who you've already become. The pause you're in now is creating space for the next step to arrive naturally. Something huge is waiting for you, but it won't arrive through force or urgency. It arrives through alignment. Through trust. Through breath. And once this steadiness becomes familiar, you'll move forward without panic, without doubt, without needing reassurance. You won't feel pushed anymore. You'll feel guided. And that is how you'll know you're exactly where you're meant to be. Notice how your breath feels different now, slower, deeper, more intentional. This is the moment where awareness turns into choice. You're no longer reacting to life as it comes at you. You're responding from a steadier place within. That shift is powerful, even if it feels quiet. You've learned something most people never do: you don't need to be pushed to move forward. You need to be centered. When you are centered, fear loses its urgency and clarity steps in without effort. This is why the message reached you now. Not earlier. Not later. Now, when you're capable of hearing it without panic. Don't skip this realization, because it changes how you trust yourself. You begin to see that the calm you're feeling isn't temporary relief. It's a signal that you're finally aligned enough to make decisions that won't cost you peace later. What unfolds next is subtle but irreversible. You'll find yourself choosing differently. Not because you're forcing discipline, but because your standards have risen naturally. You'll walk away sooner from what drains you. You'll pause before committing where you once rushed. And you'll notice something surprising: your life starts requiring less explanation. When alignment is real, you don't need to convince anyone. Your actions make sense on their own. Stay till the end of this understanding, because here's the truth most people miss: progress doesn't always feel exciting. Sometimes it feels calm. Ordinary. Almost invisible. But that's how foundations are built. Loud growth burns fast. Quiet growth lasts. And you are entering a season where durability matters more than speed. Let this settle without resistance. You are not losing momentum by slowing down. You are gaining precision. Something huge is waiting for you, and it's not hidden in the future, it's forming right now through the way you choose to breathe, pause, and listen. The more you trust this steadiness, the clearer your path becomes. You won't feel pushed anymore. You'll feel guided. And from this place, every step forward will feel less like effort, and more like truth. Now listen closely, because this is where the message becomes unmistakably personal. You may notice that the urge to explain yourself has faded. You don't feel the same need to justify your pace, your choices, or your silence. That's not detachment. That's trust taking root. When you stop rushing, you begin to recognize what truly belongs to you and what never did. The pressure that once followed you everywhere is loosening, not because life got easier, but because you stopped carrying what wasn't yours. Don't skip this, because this realization changes how you move from here on. You are no longer reacting to expectations. You are responding to alignment. And alignment doesn't shout. It settles. There's a quiet confidence forming now. One that doesn't depend on outcomes. You can feel it in the way setbacks don't shake you the same way. In the way uncertainty no longer feels like danger. This is what happens when your soul feels supported instead of strained. You've learned that constant motion is not the same as progress, and constant worry is not the same as care. Stay till the end of this understanding, because here's the surprising truth: when you breathe and remain present, solutions surface naturally. You don't have to chase clarity. It meets you when you stop running from stillness. This is why your intuition feels sharper now. This is why your timing feels cleaner. You're no longer trying to control life, you're cooperating with it. Let this be the moment you accept the calm without suspicion. You don't need to wait for chaos to feel prepared. You are prepared now, precisely because you can remain steady. Something huge is waiting for you, and it won't arrive with urgency or pressure. It will arrive with ease. With a sense of, this fits, that doesn't require proof. From here on, trust the pauses. Honor your breath. Move when clarity calls, not when fear demands. You are not slowing down, you are aligning. And once alignment locks in, nothing meant for you will miss you. Now everything slows into a deep, steady knowing, the kind that doesn't ask for permission anymore. You may realize that nothing feels urgent right now, and instead of fear, there's relief. This is the moment where trust fully replaces tension. You don't need constant reassurance. You don't need signs stacked on top of each other. You can feel when something is right without forcing logic to catch up. That's because your inner world has finally caught its breath. Don't skip this, because this calm is not the end of movement, it's the foundation of correct movement. Something huge is waiting for you, and it's tied to how grounded you feel in this exact moment. Here's the revelation that quietly changes everything. You were never meant to move fast forever. Speed was temporary. Awareness is permanent. That's why your soul asked you to stop and breathe before taking the next step. You are now able to act without panic, decide without pressure, and wait without anxiety. Most people never reach this state. They mistake calm for stagnation and rush back into noise. You didn't. You stayed. You listened. And because of that, your future decisions will feel lighter, even when they carry responsibility. Stay till the end of this realization, because it answers the question you've been carrying for a long time, why things are finally starting to feel clear without effort. Let this be the moment you trust yourself completely. You don't need to prepare anymore by suffering. You don't need to earn peace through exhaustion. You are allowed to move forward calmly. Something huge was waiting for you. Not an external miracle, but this inner alignment that nothing can shake. From here on, breathe before you act. Pause before you choose. And trust that what's meant for you responds to clarity, not chaos. You're no longer running. You're arriving. Now let this truth settle gently. You don't need to hold your breath anymore. The constant readiness, the quiet tension, the feeling that something might slip if you relax, it's dissolving. You are beginning to understand that nothing meant for you is fragile. Nothing aligned requires force. This calm you feel is not the absence of purpose, it is proof that purpose has stabilized. You are no longer searching for direction because direction is no longer outside of you. Don't skip this moment, because this is where fear quietly exits. Not with drama. Not with resistance. It leaves because it's no longer needed. Something huge is waiting for you, and it's connected to this exact realization, that you can move forward without urgency and still arrive exactly where you're meant to be. What happens next will feel natural, almost ordinary, and that's why it's powerful. You'll notice that the right steps don't drain you anymore. You won't feel pulled in 10 directions. You won't feel the need to rush clarity. You'll simply recognize what fits and what doesn't. This is the quiet guidance most people never reach because they never slow down enough to hear it. Stay till the end of this understanding, because this is the final shift, from effort to flow. From control to cooperation. From constant thinking to calm knowing. When you move from this place, your actions carry weight without pressure, and your choices feel clean instead of heavy. Carry this awareness forward. When life speeds up again, return to your breath. When noise tries to pull you back, return to stillness. You don't need to fight for alignment anymore. You are already in it. This was the message your soul needed, to stop, to breathe, and to trust what has already settled inside you. From here on, your path doesn't require struggle to prove its worth. It unfolds because you are present enough to walk it. And that presence is your protection, your clarity, and your strength.